finale.
Yes.
And it's going to be an absolute barnstormer.
This game means everything. And by that, I mean nothing.
So, yeah, well, if you can't tell, we're being a little bit sarcastic. What we've got is we've got Millenium, who've already been crowned champions, going up against...
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday they were crowned champions. Going up against IGI, who, well, they weren't crowned champions, were they? They were crowned champions of being bad by finishing rock bottom of the table.
Well, they could finish 7th.
They could jump off the bottom and go above Hyper Games if they beat Millenium. So... I don't know. This is where if this was a CSGO game, we'd be worried about match fixing at this point, I think. But fortunately, we're free from such atrocities in Call of Duty. So I've got to get you into this, guys. I mean, we can expect this to be played at a rapid pace. We can expect this to be played in a fun and frivolous manner. There's nothing on the line for these teams.
I'm disagreeing because I spoke to the teams in the quick break before we came live for this. Millenium have, well, you know, they've wanted to go home since yesterday. They knew that this game was last today. They knew who they were playing, and for them, obviously, it's not even good practice in their opinion because of you know the level IGI are. IGI are probably sitting there going, "Oh God, here we go." The team that hasn't been defeated so far, so they're a little bit restless actually. Millenium is a bit angry. They're not going to. I just said, "Are you going to go full throttle?" We said, "No." I said, "Have you considered though that realistically you could actually end every single game mode fast?" And he went, "Hadn't considered that." So one of them said, "We'll see if we can do it in 40 minutes. I went, "What, 6 maps in?" Yeah.
So they want to do 6 maps in 14 minutes?
40.
40, I was going to say.
Minutes.
That would have been incredible.
That's rapid. Yeah, that is. I mean, it's theoretically doable.
Theoretically, every game takes about 10 minutes.
People at home, get your stopwatches out, right? I don't know if kids still have stopwatches.
We have phones.
On their phones.
Yeah. The future's brilliant. Anyway, get your phones.
It's like when
mobile phones.
The old maths teacher used to say, "You wouldn't carry a calculator around with you all day. You need to learn to do these."
Yeah.
No, we actually all do carry calculators around with us in our pockets.
Yeah, but
did you ever an exam where you said, "I haven't got a calculator," and they let you use your phone? What on earth were they thinking? Just thought I'd bring that up. I've had people say, "I haven't got a calculator," and they go, "I've got one on my phone though," and they're just like, "All right, you can use your phone." It's like, what do you think I'm going to do on my phone?
I think that'd be okay back then. Now it'd actually be worse because no one would do the tests. You'd just be like, "No, I'm just going to mess around."
Right. But back in my day, right, you kids don't know your ball. We had to take an abacus in, right? It was a nightmare. Anyway, so 40 minutes, right? That's what you're going to time at home on your stopwatches or your phones or your whatever else. And or you can just count. I don't recommend doing that. But let's see if they can actually do it. Now, for IGI... obviously, they've got to try and stop that, and that's about as good as it's going to get for them, probably.
Yeah, I mean, what are you playing for in this scenario? IGI are probably sitting again. You know what? If they're being upbeat, they're going, might be good practice for us.
Yeah, true.
On the other hand, they're sitting there going, we couldn't beat other teams. This team has been undefeated. It's a very powerful roster. Their only kind of benefit is if Epsilon don't go for that, and they go, oh, you know what, whatever, we'll just have a laugh. And then even then, for IGI, they'll be sitting there going, this isn't good practice either because they're not playing full speed or whatever they're doing in this game. So, yeah, I mean, most of the scenarios are bad.
Well, look, we've got to hype this game up, this Clash of the Titans. We've got an interview with Kataga that we did yesterday, and it's going to be just a personal one, just talking about him and his career. So you watch that, and we'll see you shortly.
I am Corentin Sen, known as Gotaga on Xbox Live, and I'm a professional player for Millenium. I think I was playing Call of Duty 2 when I was something like 10, 11 maybe, but I was very young. My first LAN was at Milk Arena. It's like a coffee bar in France, so it's not that great, but when I was young, for me it was just unreal. It was the start of the competitive scene. The happiest moment, I think it was the GL2 win, I think. It was the first time a French team won against UK team in their country, won at the biggest EU event, so I think, yeah, it's my better win. I'm a chess master. I love to play chess. I play against everyone in the community. When I was young, I used to play a lot to chess, and it was my first competitive thing. I think it helps a lot because you have every time to have one more move than your opponent, and something can happen in Call of Duty as well. No, I just want to win, even if I don't need it anymore. Like, yeah, some people say, Bottega can win money by streaming, he got a good community, but no, I want to stay in the competitive scene and just win and do my best to represent France.
Yeah, I think so.
Right then, so there we are. There's the man, one of their star players there at Millenium. So, you know, it should be a relatively easy canter for them. Oh, and before I forget, I must say, if you want to watch an extended version of that interview, because that wasn't all he had to say for himself, you get on over to Gfinity TV at YouTube and you can watch that along with all the features we produced over this weekend. There you go. Boom, he's a pro. Anyway, back to talking about this. Now, look, it's good that Millenium are sort of, you know, it seems to be they are still in some sort of mindset that, you know, look, we're still here to do the business. There was talk, you know, we were wondering if they were going to forfeit or pull some...
I did wonder if they were going to turn up. I think that has actually entered their minds.
And pull some kooky stuff. And obviously, really, the standing, he's even got less motivation to even be here. And, you know, he's a character. He doesn't hold back. But ultimately, you know, I think they're like, look, you know, we still need to represent the brand, still need to represent the organisation, still need to do Gfinity a good turn and be professional about things. So it's nice to see that sort of reflected in that interview. Now back to IGI, right? They got problems, really. So is there anything they can do to even try and make this a vaguely positive and pleasant experience?
Could have like put some sort of poison in their food at lunchtime.
I was going to say sabotage.
Well, their own food.
Sabotage their consoles or something like that.
No, realistically, let's be perfectly frank here without the jokes. No, it's a disparity in class. IGI are below everybody in the league for a good reason. And you're going up against #1. It's not, you know, as much as we like to poke fun at this, very seriously, and with respect to IGI, they are a good team, but they're not a great team, and they're not an elite level team. Not at the moment. So you're not going to see anything from them, imagine, unless, you know, Millenium go off on one or something. But yeah, if this was a serious match or an important match, you'd be sitting there going 6-0, and I imagine the hard points will be a smashing, and the uplinks will be a smashing, and the S&D will be a smashing. So yeah, and that's when I'm both at full throttle. So no, for me there is almost a very, very tiny chance of IGI winning it at all, and there's a slightly better chance they'll get a map. But no, you know, to say anything else about IGI, we can sit here and poke fun at them, which, you know, is great fun, and I'm sure that, you know, somebody would probably get upset over it, but on the realist terms, that we're doing this to make light of the situation, if anything, just because it's
how grim it is.
Yeah, it's one of those scenarios that's unavoidable at points in your career. This will happen, and although IGI might be great and better than 90% of the COD teams, they're not going against 90%. They're going against the top 0.1% of COD teams, and in that scenario, you get smashed into the floor.
Right. Well, sorry, Chris.
I think this it is going to be a battering after all. I can see this. I could see both. I don't know what the map order is, but I think probably the searches are both at the end. 4 respawns. It's going to be a 4-0 to Millenium, and the search and destroys. I could imagine them messing about. And IGI, you never know, might nick a map. Who knows?
They might
just be messing around towards the end, especially the last map where it's basically over anyway, and they've probably done the business.
So who's going to put the money where the mouth is? Who's going to go for a 5-1 rather than a 6-0?
I'm still going to go 6-0.
I'm going for a 4-2.
You're mental.
Just to clarify, Millenium 6. Just to clarify.
Let's get into it. It's the last game. It's the last game of the day. It's going to be cast by Ink or iHunk, depending on how much you like him. Yeah, don't call him that. He's not really a hunk. Yeah. And Rel, of course, our musical superstar. Take it away, boys.
Wow, iHunk. I've never gone for that one. I've sometimes struggled with your name. I've kind of gone for Ink and but you know, we settled on Ink. I think we were happy with Ink.
I'm happy with Ink. I didn't ever want to use the Ink thing because I've got tattoos, and I just thought, well, people just can think I'm really obnoxious and think, oh, I've called myself Ink because I've got a tattoo. No, it's not a thing. And how Bryce, he sat there going, no, he's not a hunk. Who are you judging me, huh?
Who do you think you are, Bryce? I don't think I've done a cast so far where Bryce hasn't come up before we went into the game. Like, I've had to try and slander him some way. I have this thing with Bryce where I have to try and betray him. He's very aware of this. So any way that I can betray Bryce, I'll try and find a way. But in any case, yes, it is a clash of the Titans here. Millenium going up against IGI. Of course, I'm being a little bit joking around here. But in all seriousness, though, IGI don't want to take anything away from them, and I think they are getting a little bit more stick than they actually deserve here. IGI are a great team, and as much as they might be bottom of the Pro League, potentially have the opportunity to go 7th instead of 8th, you've got to remember this is still the Premier Division. Yeah. So they've escaped Championship. They're better than all the teams below them. They are featuring in the top 8 teams in Europe, and you can't really, you know, shake your head at that.
No, I completely agree with you on that front, and one thing we have to stress as well is this team is roughly about 48 hours old as well. They've had so many difficulties with players dropping out due to various reasons. I think one of them couldn't actually get to the event because of work, and as you can see, it looks like IGI are going to be rocking the KF5s and all other kinds of weird setups. But if Millenium take this seriously, this could be a 10-point club, to be honest with you, because they're just so good at respawn.
Oh yeah, and in all fairness to them, because I think we're a little bit cautious that this would be dual XMGs going around the map, and it's great that they're showing this kind of professionalism actually. So they're using the standard classes and they're playing this how it should be played, so it's nice to see. And respectively, IGI doing the exact same. Sure, a KF5 has been introduced, but it's not a ridiculous gun. It still has its own credits, and on this map, it might have some sort of advantage. Cambo could be onto something.
I love how positive you are, Rel. I find it inspiring. I really do. I'm sitting there going, do you know what? He's right. Maybe this is a tactical decision by Cambo, and the ASM1 all of a sudden just isn't as good as it was before.
Discovered this late into the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Cambo has found the KF5.
I've seen it a few times used, and well, Mad Cat's now picked it up, and I'm interested to see what Mad Cat can actually do with the KF5, because if he does well, let me try and get my words out again. If he's as good as he is with the KF5 compared to other guns, then he could actually go on a tear up, and he's currently 6-0 as well.
Yes, he is, so he's going to have a little bit of fun with this as well. Mad Cat, a lot of people argue one of, if not the best European player in the Call of Duty competitive scene, and that's been consistent really throughout all the titles he's competed on. 7-0 at the moment, yet to die, and I think he's going to try and maintain this for the remainder of the game. You can see he's actually playing quite passively. He's found himself on the hard point, but he's not pushing out.
Well, Manca's just eaten about 5 stun grenades there, so it looks like IGI have just got double stuns on every single class. But as you can see, Harley currently 4-7, probably the standout player for IGI in my view. And he's just been so consistent, not only with respawns, particularly uplink rather than hardpoint, and S&D as well. But as you can see, Joe's actually pulled out the S&6, so I think it has all kind of gone to pot on that front. I think everyone's just trying out different classes and seeing what damage they can do. But there's still a few players sweating it. Mad Cat's pulled out the AR, which means only bad things can happen for IGI. But the current score, 59-21 here. And I think you dubbed this as the Courage Corner?
Oh, the Courage Corner, yeah. Has anyone found the way into it just yet? Mad Cat's hesitant to go into it. There's no need to, I guess. There's a really good surround by Millenium on this hardpoint area. And something, again, I kind of want to stress the point with IGI. I think they've got a little bit more stick than they deserve, and you don't want to make them the sort of turn it into a bit of a joke. I think a lot of the reason behind this is because coming into the actual European Pro League finals, they were coming in with a negative 24, I think it was, map difference, having not won a single map. They'd lost every single one, and they've come into this now and they've been taking maps. So we've got to give them some credit here.
Well, one thing I'm going to say is, thanks to, well, essentially, IGI, VWS finished 3rd rather than 2nd, because if IGI hadn't have taken that map off of VWS, it would have still been possible for them to overtake Vitality on map difference. But because that happened, VWS towards the end of the series just kind of, in my view, stopped trying on the S&D a little bit. It did get a little bit lazy, but if it was still on for them to get 2nd, you know they would have absolutely sweated.
Oh, yes.
Honestly, it would be ridiculous. IGI have had a little bit of an impact here.
Yeah, they were influential in the final league standings, and that's something that you've certainly got to bear in mind. Mad Cat still on board with him, boasting a 13-4 after that kill-death ratio. Really impressive performance. That's what we'd expect from Mad Cat. Joe here, he's trying to find his way up to the hard point. And, you know, we've discussed the fact, and I don't know if you were aware of this. I know I've been sort of saying it on the commentary. I figured it was a fairly well-known fact, but Rust does actually exist outside the boundaries of this map.
Oh, I didn't know that, no.
We'll venture out as... it's actually not uplink. I don't think we'll actually have time. Oh well. But yeah, I mean, if you get time, and this is for the viewers back home, take yourself onto a private match free-for-all on this map. Have a little adventure around, and you will find Rust just on the outskirts of the map.
It's a little bit weird that they've done that. I think
they love the Easter eggs, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, those pesky sledgehammer games.
What are they like?
Cheeky. Anyway, Gataga here, 14-11. So using a sub, he's been trying the whole game. To be fair, I don't think he. I don't know, when he's in his mood or in the mood to play God, he just takes it very, very seriously. And this weekend, I think Gataga has done very, very well the majority of the time, to be honest with you. He has had a couple off games, so is everyone at this entire event. But Gataga, you know, one of the questions I ask, you know, whilst I was casting on the online games is, Gataga online, difficult to tell what he's going to be at LAN. LAN usually is the slayer for the old Millenium side. He would just carry that old squad. But coming here with a different role, how would he perform? And to be honest with you, he's performed very, very well in my view.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the peaks and troughs of Gataga's career, really, and going way, way back to when he competed under Mythics and was winning back-to-back tournaments with the French team so long ago that, and then he kind of dipped off after competing under Apex. That was alongside the likes of Tommy, likes of McGee as well, featuring in there. And then, you know, he never really hit that form once again, and you kind of seeing now the Gataga of old. Maybe he's not standing out as much as he used to, but he's certainly able to hang with the best of the best in Europe.
Yeah, and obviously with the interview that he did here at Gfinity, he said, you know, when you've got the best player arguably in the EU with Mad Cat, he doesn't have to do as much. And that's very true because Mad Cat does do so much, but also Joe as well with the sub.
Yeah.
In my view, probably one of the best sub players in Europe, if not the best right now, and that's echoed by a lot of people around as well. So having Mad Cat and Joe on the same team, essentially, I was saying this to Trout in the final week, it can be the case where Gataga's actually really not left with much to do or much to kill at all. He's just got to be very heal-orientated, a little bit like Reedy's been doing as well. But obviously, Reedy coming in for Rated coming straight back into this squad after this event, as he is banned from this event, unfortunately. But we'll jump on board with Tank. Haven't seen anything of him this game, and throughout this whole tournament, he hasn't had the best event, but he is a pickup for this side.
I was just flicking through the players there, seeing what guns they were using. I think Reedy's actually brought out an SN6. So it's good to see, I guess, the variety of guns being used in this game adds an element of interest, I guess. Not the usual ASM one we'd usually expect, but still, you know, it's not a ridiculous gun. It's the only thing I can kind of say.
I suppose he's just practicing. Or, to be honest with you, it kind of feels like when we see those guns, I feel like I'm watching a pubs lobby because I'm just so not used to seeing those types of classes. But I'm very grateful it's not sniper only like some had actually speculated it would be. But sniper only on S&D would be really interesting to watch. That would be great. But not in Respawn because we'll be here all day. But it looks like Millenium, I thought they would actually go all out and just try and get this game done and dusted with. Reedy in particular in the booth has just said, you know, I just want to get this over and done with. I just want to kind of go home and just chill out. And I'm surprised they've kind of taken it so, not very lightly, but obviously they could have probably had 250 points by now if they would have sweated it.
Potentially, and again, this is something we don't overlook the ability of IGI. I mean, look at Sowers here, 27-25. Sure, his teammates are notably negative there, but Sowers, he's putting up a really strong performance, so credit given to him.
Yeah, 7 caps to his name as well, and he's actually got more kills than anyone in the lobby, but it's just difficult to measure how it would go if everyone was legitimately sweating. I keep using that word, but it's just the word you've got to use in this format. And Joe currently in the hill there, and he gets taken out. No one using that courage corner. Actually, Sowers getting a team kill there on Tank. Harley was the last player alive at that stage. But right now, I think it is a case of when rather than if Millenium win this first map. I don't think anyone expected IGI to win the hard point, but it's going to be really interesting to see when we get to the S&Ds if IGI can take not only 1 map, but maybe 2 maps, because they've been fairly consistent on S&D the entire weekend.
It's great, actually. I love the fact that this is actually becoming Courage Corner. I want it to stick for the remainder of Advanced Warfare. Yeah, it's just, I've never seen someone so passionate about a spot on a map as Courage was, so it is officially Courage Corner. There we go, top 1 callouts. Mad Cat has found himself in that hardpoint area, wanting to potentially end this now on this next hardpoint. They've only got to get 29 seconds.
So obviously, whilst we're on the topic of this map, and obviously coming into P4, I mean, this hardpoint is very, very weird. I heard you talking to Ton about it earlier. It was very, very sporadic and a bit random, to be honest with you. But what are your thoughts on Compound hardpoint as a whole? Is it something you enjoy? Because for me, it kind of feels like an older map.
I like small hardpoint maps. I think the essence of hardpoint is fast-paced gameplay, throwing your body into there. It really comes down to these dogfights, who's going to come out in the 1v1s, and as much as spawns are going to influence it somewhat, I just love the fast-paced nature. Uplink's a lot more strategic game, in my opinion. Search and Destroy is obviously where Lone Wolves can shine, and you know, you only have 1 life, so given that it's such a small map, I think it works brilliantly for it. I do completely understand what you're saying. It's very simple, I suppose, for lack of better words. It's been kept that way intentionally, but it works.
Yeah, no, and that's what I love. The old feel about it is just, it's refreshing, because some of the maps are obviously the default maps, so, you know, the bigger maps, so to speak. I'm not going to roast any maps in particular or anything like that, but Compound is just small and it is action-packed, and I think it does take it back to the roots of Hardpoint, to be honest with you. I mean, the Black Ops 2 maps on Hardpoint were just so small and condensed, and the gunfights you would see, they were just be absolutely insane. But final score there, 250 to 95. And as you can see, well, no one really going off as such. Madcat, 35 kills. Gataga, 36 kills. Sours, though, it's a decent performance for him.
Yep, IGI have been sent into the 100-point club here very early on in the Super 6 series there. You can see Millenium, Gataga, Reedy, Joe, and on the far right is Madcat. Very well-established players. And Gataga looks so overjoyed with that victory on the first map. Really happy with that. And you can just see, I mean, his teammates are just trying to calm him down. Calm down, Gataga. Stop being so enthusiastic about it.
Get off the Red Bull. Come on.
Gataga is a man of few words. You know, he turns up, he gets the job done, and there we go. He's cracked a smile. But he's always been that way. He's very expressionless. And in some ways, I think it really does work to his advantage. You know, being in the scene and being in the limelight a lot as Gataga will be, you can receive, of course, big fans, a lot of great feedback, but a lot of criticism, sometimes very harsh. And Gataga, it's just like water off a duck's back. He's here to play, and that's all he cares about.
Well, obviously, Gataga was one round away from playing in the championship next year, potentially, at the end of that season, and I really felt for him because he was carrying that squad pretty much every single map. But saying that, since Mello left that Millennium side and joined Hypergames, Mello has played so well this weekend, and if anything, Mello carried Hypergames for a lot of the weekend. So it's weird to see how two players can be great individually, but not in the same team. But with that in mind, up next we've got Hardpoint Biolab, followed by Detroit Uplink, and then we're going to see some more DLC, Parliament Uplink, followed by two S&Ds to finish things off. But Biolab Uplink, Biolab Hardpoint, I should say, there's probably only going to be one winner here.
Oh, yeah. You can't help but feel that that's going to be the case. It's going to be the same old story throughout this. I think we're always going to back Millennium on every single map. I mean, if you felt that IGI could take one, I'm assuming that you're backing Millennium as I am to take the 6-0. What map, what game mode would it be?
I'd say Solar S&D, to be really specific.
Okay.
And because I've seen Millennium on Recovery S&D, and they don't mess around. I think it suits them. It's a very aggressive map and it is a little bit smaller, and I think it suits their game style generally, but Solar S&D, a little bit more tactical, and that's probably one of their Achilles heels in my view, something they do need to work on ever so slightly, and that's coming from me, obviously. I'm a caster, I'm not a pro, but for looking from a neutral perspective, it seems like S&D is something, if they were going to work on anything, is the thing they need to do, and possibly the map which some teams target, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Search and Destroy, it's always the case with Hardpoint if you're a well-practiced team, because there's room for error, I suppose, is the important thing with Hardpoint. There's some room for error with Uplink, but there's no room for error on Search and Destroy. If you make one simple mistake, it can cost you a round, which can cost you the game. So many times we see these round 11 Search and Destroyers, and people forget about the earlier rounds where a silly mistake was made, but it is the weak point of a lot of teams because of the potential randomness, I suppose. Yeah,
I can't disagree with you, and I can't add anything because I think you've just summarized it perfectly there. But we'll jump on board with Joe. He's currently bottom Eskies. He was going to head glitch that window, but he's actually going to back off towards Eskies itself. But as you can see, he almost naded himself there. He's actually going to jump up top. No, he's just going to juke backwards and forwards and get absolutely ruined by Harley there. And right now, 38 to 10 eventually. It seemed like at that point lasted forever. But once again, Millennium in control.
Yeah, Millennium got a really good start on that first hardpoint area, and it's kind of, I feel like IGI are just going to be trying to claw back that lead that they have for the entire remainder of this game. They really need a good hard point here. If they can get some points on Eskies, it's going to really benefit them. But again, Madcat's fought his way in there, and you can see the lockdown. Tank's trying to punch through. He's trying his best, but I don't think he's in a great position to actually do anything and secure any points.
Well, Tank here is actually going to jump top Eskies through that ridge window. Sneaky play there from Tank.
In trouble.
I've seen him, he is a tank.
Well, there we go, it comes one-on-one. And, you know, we were discussing the individual performances of IGI earlier on, not myself and you, but the other caster I was with, and we're kind of summarizing how we think each individual player's done. The two top players for me, I would say Sours and Harley.
Agreed.
And the two bottom players, Cambo and Tank. Maybe Tank, probably the lesser of the two. That said, he's certainly performing best in this game.
Well, 8 and 6 currently, and we're going to jump on board with, well, we're still on board with Cambo there, but we will switch to Tank, the man in question. Gun battle going on. Oh, wow, actually taken out. I think Tank actually had first shots there, but Reedy just absolutely destroys him. Cambo, though, two-piece in blue. Looks like he's single-handedly defending this hill right now, currently on a 4 streak, and he's obviously going to know that spawn is coming into effect in purple, but Cambo is just set up for it, and actually, IGI have taken the lead.
Very, very good play by him. Cambo, Tank, Holly Sowers, every single player now by IGI are in this hardpoint area, and they are doing a great job of holding this. This could be the map that they take from Millenium. It's an impressive feat to take a map from these guys, and this is great from Cambo. Finds 2, he's going to find a 3rd. Oh, so many bullets emptied, but doesn't make the kill.
Well, he's actually on an A streak, and this is actually impressive from Tank. Probably one of the best plays he's had all weekend. Joe takes him out from behind, though. Rotation has come into effect in and around green, plat, hardpoint. Madcat actually using a sub. That is a very weird sight, to say the least, but going to turn around, almost has a turn-on kill on Cambo, but Cambo's just, yeah, he's had a decent start here, to say the least. Yeah,
Cambo's really stepped things up, as have Tank, and gone completely against the grain and completely against what I've been saying I've seen from them so far. So I'm going to give them some credit. They're having a great game here, and I wouldn't say so much that they're carrying IGI through this, but I feel without them in this game, they certainly wouldn't be taking this lead.
Once again, I can't add anything to that because I completely agree with it. But obviously right now, Millenium are, currently losing. And although that seems absolutely terrible, I expect Millenium will bring this back. I think right now they're on a little bit of cruise mode or cruise control, where they're like thinking it a little bit slowly, thinking possibly putting their feet up, maybe relaxing. I think there was some talk that they were going to try and play the whole series with their feet up, but I didn't think they wanted to disrespect IGI. But I think even if they did that, hardpoint, they're just so strong at it, and IGI, out of all of their gamers, it looks like their main weakness, to be honest with you. So with that in mind, IGI, I mean, they could cause an upset and maybe, who knows, pick up this map, and if they do that, how Millenium want to respond to that? I mean, I'm just speculating at this point, because Millenium could just switch it on all of a sudden, and it could be game over.
Well, as we edge closer to that halfway point, it is still IGI who have this lead, and much like you said, I can't help but feel Millenium are going to fight their way back into this, but IGI are doing a great job of holding on to this lead. I mean, even if it's coming down to the fact that they have to hold a congestion over a hardpoint area, if that's what it takes, they'll do it.
Well, at the moment, as you just said, they are defending the hard point very well, and it's very difficult to defend by, but they finally gets broken. No, it's not even broken there. Eventually, with 7 seconds remaining, but back to circle. Which team is going to be first on the rotation? It looks like Joe is there, stunning that blue cut area. Is he going to win this gun battle? Is he going to take it out? Wins the first one on Sowers, being pushed through ISO, and it looks like he's got cover. No, he hasn't, as Harley won that gun battle. Joe is still going big, though, stunning the circle hard point. Oh, he gets stunned himself there, and finally taken down with a nice 2-piece from Cambo.
Oh, Joe just wanted to get involved with everything there. He was so weak for so long. Cambo actually the weak one now, on board with him, 3-kill streak, and he's just going to hold fast. IGI doing really good here, and this is the thing, I don't feel like people give them enough credit. That's the thing. They're a great team. They're in the Premier League for a reason, and they're going up against the best of the best here in Millenium, and they're bringing it to them.
And it's a squad which is put together with literally 48 hours notice before the event as well. So if I could get a team together and 2 days actually take a map off of, a VWS even, or take a few maps off of Spirit Gaming, who actually finished above Team Infused, by the way, I'd be pretty happy with my performance. And if IGI go away and actually put a solid team of 4 together who can get time off work, who can go to events and can get the DLC maps, IGI really could make a little bit of a storm, so to speak, in the community generally, because I think at the moment the community does need a few more orgs to kind of step up, in my view.
Well, this is it. I mean, IGI eSports are a professional organisation. You've seen the players, you've seen the managers wearing the brands, representing them around the event, as opposed to some who have turned up in the casual attire.
Yeah,
so they take it seriously, and for very good reason, and I think that's that really favour him. Tank deciding to use the deployed minigun there didn't really pay off for him.
No, well, it looks like Millenium have actually retaken the lead there as they've gone big in this Eskies hard point, but Madcat still using a submachine gun, so I think he's putting the AR away just to have some mercy, perhaps, in some ways. But if they carry on taking them too lightly, IGI could actually take this map, because the longer this map goes on, the more you realize, well, hang on a minute, they're still in the lead here. When are Millenium just going to switch on? Do they care if they drop a map?
Look at this. Look at the map here. I'm just going to expand it slightly. Look where Millenium are situated. IGI have to punch through. They have a 3-point lead, which is nothing. Reedy is in a great position here. It's an obvious one, but he's just denying Cambo the opportunity to push in and racking the points up for his team.
Yeah, Madcat actually walked past Cambo originally, but Cambo was stunned, so he couldn't get the kill. But Madcat there still using a sub, and he looks like he's having some fun with it. 25 and 20 as well if he carries on at this pace. He may be en route to drop a 40. It will be a bit of a struggle, though, but right now there are some decent performances from IGI. And Millenium can't sit there and say, oh, well, we've pulled out rubbish weapons, all that kind of stuff. every team is trying at the moment, but we just don't know how much Millenium is trying, because we've seen Millenium absolutely dominate all weekend, to be honest with you. So obviously, they're not at their full capacity, but it's going to get to a stage where if they carry on being sloppy or lazy, IGI can take a map off of them. And to be honest with you, obviously, when this is reported on Twitter later, the scores coming in, people will be like, what? What's going on?
I'm not giving them that benefit. I feel like Millenium are trying the best here. I'm not going to take anything away from IGI if they manage to walk away with a victory on this hard point. 142 to 157. They are trailing, but still within reaching distance of taking this from them.
Well, Tank currently on a 3 streak, does eat that stun grenade, though. He's going to hit back with a stun of his own, doesn't connect with anything, though. And as you can see, he is using an AR in and around outskirts. Just spotted Mad Cat there, takes him out. He's going to pick up a 2-piece. He does pick up a 2-piece, so Tank is probably having his best map of the entire weekend right now.
I can't agree more. I'm going to stay on board with Tank, actually, and see what he can do. He's very, very weak, unable to make that kill. The point difference is so small. It's going to come down to the final hardpoint area, Ink.
Well, I'm literally looking at this going, hang on a minute, there's only 7 seconds in it, and we're almost on the final hard point. So I think Millenium are going to try and lock down this green hard point as best as possible, because they realize that this game is a little bit closer than they would like. But if IGI can get in this hill, break control, get some scrap time, it'll be set up nicely for the final hill.
Here we go. So a good lead now going into this central hard point for Millenium. Do IGI have a hope? Are they going to be able to set up well in it? Well, we only have Cambo for IGI. He does go down, and that's going to be bad news. Millenium already 30 points up, are storming away with this, and as time ticks away, it's just slipping out of the grasp of IGI.
Yeah, well, it looks like 3, 2, it's being contested, and that's going to be game done and dusted. So there we go. Millenium do win map number 2. They made it a lot harder than it had to be. I think when it came to the green hardpoint, they went, hang on a minute, let's just re-extend the lead here. And to be fair, as I said, no one dossing around, no one pulling out random weapons like we saw in the first map. So I think Millenium got lucky in some aspects there, because I think they cut it a little bit too fine, because even if they would have lost hill control on green or not set up properly on the final rotation, they could have lost that map, and that seems very weird to say and perhaps a little bit naive from my perspective, but it's true at the end of the day. They were behind most of the game.
Yeah, it's such a shame as well for IGI, who performed so well. A stark contrast from what we saw in Compound Hardpoint as well, which finished 250 to 95. The final scoreline 210 to 155, which, you know, if you were just looking at the game just on that final score, you'd say, well, it's quite an easy win for Millenium there. But the reality of the situation was that came down to the final 2 hardpoints, which Millenium did storm over. They steamrolled past IGI, but as you said, Ink, for the large part of that was IGI's to lose.
Yeah, well, obviously, taking a look at the final score on my screen, well, Mad Cat, 36 kills with a sub as well. So not using an AR, which he's very comfortable with. Joe, 34 kills, always consistent, 10 caps, 6 defends. And looking at the defense in that game, there's actually quite a lot. Not Epsilon side, sorry, Millenium side, there's obviously 23 defense total. And then on the IGI side, there's around 14. But with that being said, obviously, headed to map number 3. It's going to be changing up game modes as we head to Uplink.
Yes, Uplink Detroit is going to be the map and the game mode that they're going to be playing out here. So 2 victories for Millenium so far. One more map win will, of course, mean that they are guaranteed a tie. But no doubt Millenium are looking for that victory here. IGI are going to do all they can to try and stop them in their tracks, though. Millenium have been so dominant here at the Season 2 European Pro League Finals. Detroit Uplink. Could this be a turning point?
Well, obviously, Uplink, to be fair, I've seen IGI perform relatively well on a couple Uplink maps. It was Biolab Uplink, to be specific, so obviously a different map, a whole different approach. But with that in mind, if Mad Cat uses a sub and carries on using a sub, and then that's a huge help to IGI, because Mad Cat with a bow on this map, he's just going to offer such map control, and it's going to get pretty ugly.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to jump straight into this. Is there any particular player or team you want to watch first, Ing?
We see what Mad Cat is using, if he's using an AR or a sub.
Okay.
That's what I'm keen to look at. Okay, yeah. Oh, dear.
It's going to be the AR. I mean, he could have really introduced anything here, and we'd be concerned for IGI's safety.
Yeah, that's very true. He's just done pretty well with a sub as well. But if Millenium is serious about trying to wrap this series up as soon as possible, Uplink is a game mode where you can do that. You don't have to play the entire 10 minutes. If you're 10 point the first round, or go for the 10 point the first round at least, or even 10 pound. 10 pound? Yeah, £10. If you 10 point the second round, then it's going to be game done and dusted very, very quickly. But it looks like it's been a fairly passive start thus far from both sides. No side getting that early map control that they both seek.
All All right, well, you're absolutely right. I mean, the uplink drone, no one's really made a convincing push for it just yet. Tank's trying to sneak his way around and cannot resist the temptation, but it looks like he's picked it up just to throw it away. So interesting strategy there. I think he was just conscious of the fact that his team was a little bit out of position, so wanted to ensure that Millenium can't capitalize on that.
Yeah, and it goes to show that IGI are taking this very seriously at the moment. The fact you're 15-seconding it, even though all 4 were up from both sets of players. And although 2 players from IGI went down rapidly after that, it shows that they're actually showing some communication, that they want to take the pressure off of one another. But Gataga is currently 6-0, 7-0. But taken out as soon as we noticed the streak.
Yeah, and for a second there, I thought you were saying 0-7. I was like, what? How have I missed this? But yeah, 7-1. Having a great game, and we've given him a fair bit of coverage for very good reason. The French Monster, as is dubbed, a huge following, no doubt draws fans in wherever he competes, wherever he goes. He's always got supporters that are going to be watching him, and they're going to be really happy with Millenium, the French organisation, with a French player walking away with a victory here. But a strong performance as well, flying a flag for France.
Yeah, well, they look like a very strong team of 4, and it'd be interesting to see how, if they would be able to perform against some of the better sides of the world. Obviously, we were having a discussion earlier, obviously your TCMs and the Epsilons from old days.
Yeah.
And they thought, hang on, we could really compete here. So I think those were your exact words. And obviously, when the 100K recently infused, they kept up. They finished 4th overall, and that was a great placement for them. And even Epsilon, they finished T8. So some of the EU sides could keep up. And it'd be interesting to see how this the Millenium side with Gataga would perform as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very good point, actually. It kind of eluded me, the fact that Infuse did actually finish 4th in that tournament, which was quite surprising. Yeah, I mean, looking at the European talent and teams that are on offer, because there's no outright dominant force, I struggle to feel that we'd have a good showing in an American lineup, but our best hope at this stage would be this Millenium team. I say there's not been a dominant force. I mean, looking at this, they haven't lost a single series, actually, in the league.
And they were unlucky to draw one of them as well.
Yeah, so all that considered, I don't think the wins have been necessarily massively convincing for some of them, but it's still been enough for me to feel that our best hope would be Millenium here.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, but I think with a little bit more time, that wouldn't necessarily be the case with some of the squads having some changes. Infuse going to be making a few changes to their lineup. Epsilon, probably a few changes, because I think Dominate is only a pickup. Also, BWS, I hope, stays a 4, because they look like a really good 4. They look like one of those young and hungry teams which, if they carry on going as they're going, they could become one of those dominant forces. But obviously, probably too early to tell at this stage. But BWS, speaking of those, they've had such a great performance at this event, and they have really surprised everyone.
I think the disappointment, I guess, has been Epsilon, really. Epsilon is the household name in the competitive Call of Duty community, and as we said, always finishing 1st or 2nd, generally 1st, to be honest, over TCM. To have such a disappointing outing in the league, you know, we were talking to Swanee earlier, we saw how disappointed he was. He actually said he took out a one-day membership at a gym and went on a 10K run after doing it to try and relieve some of the stress. Swanee does not like losing, ladies and gentlemen, but he's a professional and a great sport all the same. So, yeah, it was very strange to see Epsilon not near the top of that leaderboard.
But to be honest with you, I think that Infuse have probably had a more disappointing event, and they came into this joint 1st. And they finished 5th overall.
That's true.
And it just kind of all went wrong for them in every possible way. And you know, losing to VWS, I mean, VWS are a great side, so there's no shame in that. But Infuse going from top all the way down to bottom, it doesn't look good on them in any aspect. In a way, it kind of made them look like, oh, yeah, well, some people are probably giving them sticks, saying, you know, well, maybe they were more of an online team. They won every game online, and all of a sudden they get to LAN and they don't win a single thing, and they didn't really put in any great performance. I mean, earlier on, it went down to the final map, but even then, the 3 maps first up, they just got kind of stomped on, to be honest with you. The final map was relatively close, 2 points in it, but Vitality were in control for the majority of it, in my view.
Yeah, it's got to be a horrible feeling, that as well, to receive that criticism as being an online warrior or an online team.
No, and they're not, and that's a frustrating thing.
Because it completely kind of goes against it. It basically discredits any kind of achievement you've ever really managed to earn.
Okay. Let's check this out the game.
Okay. Well, we'll be making sure to get straight back into that. Just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I mean, it completely discredits any kind of good work that you've done if you're classed as an online player, because it means that you can't perform when it comes to tournaments, and you're only really widely regarded as a good player when you're playing online, which no one takes takes that seriously, I suppose.
All right. Okay. I think you can still see it on screen there, can you?
This has blown my mind.
Okay, we can still... I think there's a backup Xbox set up, so...
Oh, Gfinity, you crafty little rascals. I love it. Well, neither of us are driving now, so we're the hope and dreams of the driver.
There's just someone upstairs in production just going, oh, drive!
They're frantically switching through every player. They don't know where they're going, but it's okay. We're cool with it. So we're going to get on board with Joe straight away with that uplink drone. And he's making a big push now. Now, actually looking at the scoreline difference here, immediately tying things up. So a bit of a closer game between these teams. And I've got to say, I feel like IGI are becoming a stronger team the more that this series goes on.
Well, what I was saying to you before this game started was IGI have really got to make the most of the opportunity to play probably the best team in Europe right now. And because... frankly, IGI being relegated, they'll be stuck in the championship next year where the quality isn't as strong. Bearing in mind, IGI were undefeated last year, so that just goes to show that there is a bit of a...
they are the middle team.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe this, but obviously the talent isn't as prominent in the championship. So make the most of it, play against some of the best players in Europe and what Europe has to offer, and just try and learn from the best, essentially.
Yeah, they're getting that experience that they need. We're just going to get that left bumper pressed as well on the controller so that we can get the actual team logos up as well at the top of the map for you guys. And we're going to get that done as soon as possible. But yeah, the 5-3 scoreline that we currently have here for Millenium is quite, quite narrow, as I say. A single carry capture is all that it would take for IGI to get back into this.
Well, obviously, Mad Cat has got the drone currently. As you said, only 2 points in it at this stage, but it looks like Mad Cat's just going to try and run around with the drone a little bit, have some fun with it, and he's going to launch it out for 15. And as far as I can see, unless that bounced back in, did it bounce back in, or is that my eyes going weird? No, it is my eyes going weird. Never mind. But Harley, once again, impressive performance on Uplink thus far, 19 and 18. Main slayer of his team thus far, and it looks like Cambo started to struggle again, down on 11 and 20, but I think he's trying to play more of an OBJ role.
Yeah, so they're trying to adapt to the game and bounce off the opposing team as best they can here. Joe there just refreshing his armor. Wise move for him before he goes for this big push. And here we go. We could be seeing a conversion here. It's not a great throw at all with that uplink drone. And oh, dearie me, that's not going to work out well for him at all.
No, well, as you can see, Cambo actually does have the drone at the moment, but I think it has been launched out. Tank got this school control by the look of it, so it looks like IGI will... Oh, never mind. As soon as I say that, Mad Cat absolutely ruins him through school window. Cambo, last player alive. Is it going to be 4 down? No. Cambo goes big. Oh, almost had a 2-piece there, but Kataga just about gets that kill. But there's still only 2 points in it. Redio is going to pick up the drone here, and it looks like he's going to be making a school push with the support of his teammate just in front of him.
Oh, Mad Cat's taken down 2. That's good work from him. If you want any teammate supporting you, it's of course got to be Mad Cat. And Reedy, is he going to make the push or is he going to go for the throw? He's been a little bit greedy, but it's paid off for him. 7-3 now, and that lead is just extended even further for Millenium, who have already solidified their place in the Super 6 series with 2 rounds under the belt, looking to make it a 3rd.
Well, looking at the feed, I think Tank just actually got a double kill with a stomp as well, so it's a shame we didn't manage to catch that. But, as you said, there's only 2 dunks in it at this stage. But right now, it's all Millenium. They've just got complete school control. Mad Cat's just getting kill after kill in school as well, and it looks like Joe's going to push down mid-street just to show off a little bit by the look of it. And he could go for 1 point. He's actually got caught up on Hummers there, but it's going to be 8-3.
Not bad at all. So now Millenium really finding the feet in this game. As we said earlier on, quite tied up. It was actually 3-3 at one point between the 2 teams. IGI as well having some sort of hope to take this from the champions, from the Season 2 League winners, the Pro League winners. But it's just slipping out of their grasp again. We're just seeing the Millenium team heating up here, and there's nothing really at all coming from IGI that is indicating a point might come in this round.
Especially when Joe launches out for 15 as well, so that is going to be map done and dusted. They've surely not got enough time. I think it would probably be a world record for quickest dunks ever if they were to make any sort of comeback. But, you know, with that in mind, I think that's now going to be... Is it 3-0 now in map count?
Yes, it will make it 3-0 in the Super 6 series. So they're guaranteed the time Millenium. They're 1 map away from securing another victory here, which will mean that they've remained undefeated for the whole of Season 2 and only 1 draw, 6 wins.
First team to ever do that as well after, well, this is obviously the end of the second season. The first season, Vitality had 1 defeat, if I'm not mistaken. Epsilon also suffering 1 defeat, and that was against Vitality, and that was at LAN. So this time, last month, essentially, so much has changed since Season 1. It really has.
Oh, it's such a... we always say this, Call of Duty, it's so volatile, it changes so much. Teams, there's, you know, some disloyal players, for lack of better words. There's a lot of switching about. Everyone's trying to create the God Squad. Everyone's trying to make the best team that they can rather than sticking with a team and working on the chemistry. That is going to be it, though. That game will end in Millenium's favor, making it 3-0 in the series. And Millenium very comfortable with that Tiger Target. Again, so enthusiastic about the victory. The amount of joy that resonates from his face every time he takes a map is just so inspiring. It makes me just want to pick up a controller and play myself.
Same, to be honest. Just look at him, and he's just going to... I don't know why he's on more caffeine, because he looks too hyped already. Yeah, I think he's got to be careful here.
This is the thing. If anything, he needs to just take some water, take a few breaths, and calm down. There we go. We get a smile. This tends to happen. The map finishes. Don't really see much from him, but then he just cracks a cheeky little smile, has a bit of a giggle to himself, and
I think he smiles because he can't understand what people are saying, so he just smiles and just like as if he agrees, and he just hasn't got a clue.
His English has actually really improved. It obviously he's been in the scene a long time. And the thing is, when you compete with English players, naturally it's going to happen. You're surrounded by the language. So Gataga not shy to actually compete with English players at all, as opposed to some of the other French players. Maybe Maxi, who's dabbled a bit there and there between, but the other players tend to stick with their home nationality. But that is going to be it for the first half of this Super 6 series anyway. 3-0 currently the scoreline for Millenium. Great play from them. Will IGI be able to get back into it? Well, we'll see after this break.
Wait, you're not on it? I'm on it. 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 Where are you at?
Choice it would be, but
he doesn't pull it. Gets it.
There's one. Oh, it's going to be close.
He gets the second one. Clay, the MVP with the 2 snipes. All smiles, high fives coming from Attach. The birthday boy able to pick it up.
Wow, and look at that, the accuracy there. And I mean, you know, in those close quarters.
They didn't really have full control. They were defending the flank over and over again. Another thing with doing it, eventually you will get overwhelmed in that position. The other thing will be able to eventually break it, get like maybe get a 2-piece of touch. Oh my goodness! There's surely the 4-2. Can he pick it up? He gets it. Oh my! The entire team of TCM taken out in a matter of seconds. Attach, man. He is young. He is still developing as a player, but God, he is the stuff.
You would see what I see.
Welcome back to the EU Pro League Season 2 finale. Inc. joined by Rel, and obviously Gfinity decided to save the best casters until last. That will probably be disputed a hell of a lot, to be honest with you. But currently 3-0 in favor of Millenium. It just kind of summarizes the season they've had. Currently undefeated. They will remain undefeated. First team to do that ever in 2 seasons, to be fair. But up next, Parliament Uplink. Rel, you've seen this map. What do you make of it?
Well, you know, it's a DLC map, so it always there's. I don't want to.
I'm so happy about that.
I don't want to use the word controversy around it, but there's always a lot of discussion around it. I suppose is the focal point, because there's some players that might not even have played this map. Some teams will have practiced it a lot more, given the fact that they know that they have this opportunity here, and that big difference becomes very evident as soon as the teams start playing. The map itself, Parliament, I'm not too keen on. Compound, I love that DLC.
Agreed.
Parliament, as a personally not one of my favourite maps, but for Uplink it does work. So, you know, it's something. It's not new, obviously, but something fairly new to the competitive scene, and a new addition keeps it interesting.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to say that obviously, I think Trout said this to me just a few days ago, that the whole point of competitive maps is that they test a different aspect to your game, and this is a map like no other because it is the 8-bow map. Everyone uses ARs, and if they don't, they will just get absolutely ruined the majority of the time. And it is something completely different for the spectator, for the casters, and the players themselves. You're seeing sub-players who are such strict sub-players go, hang on a minute, guys, I'm going to have to pull out a bow here. And sometimes they do very, very well. Other times they go, oh, well, hang on a minute, this isn't for me. And they try their best, but they tend to just struggle, to say the least. So I'll play devil's advocate on that front. But Parliament Uplink itself, obviously, we know which the better side is. I think Courage was going through it earlier with regards to the spawns, and I think there's a little bit more cover as well. I think it's on Sentinel side. When we spawn in, I'll be able to tell you. But as a rule of thumb, DLC maps coming in, which one would you say is your favorite then? You said you like Compound, but what about Skyrise S&D? Because that is awesome.
You see, the thing is with Skyrise, yeah, it's a great map. The only thing is, it's a map that I've played before. Well, we will have played before in Modern Warfare 2. So I kind of view Compound as the new map. Skyrise is just the remake of a map that we've played before. It's a map that everyone is familiar with, that's been in the scene a while. So Skyrise, I love it. I loved High Rise, love Skyrise. Compound, though, it's something fresh and new. So I think when you find a new map that you like, it's sometimes a rarity, because I know the DLCs do sometimes receive a little bit of criticism, not just from the online, from the competitive community, but just from the online community on the whole as well. And I don't think that's because there's anything wrong with the maps itself. It's just everyone acclimatizes to the maps that they used to so much that as soon as something new comes out, like, oh, I don't like this, I'm not used to it. It's, you know, but
unless they get a lot of kills on it, then they love it.
Oh yeah, unless that happens. But give any map time, you'll get used to it, you'll adjust, and you'll enjoy it. And Compound's one of them maps that I think, if it was in the original map pool, would have certainly featured in competitive play from the start.
Yeah, well, everyone would have been so hyped for Compound. I think it is probably one of the better maps that I've seen, especially with regards to Hardpoint as well. A couple of the Hardpoint maps I'm not really a big fan of, but this map, up close and personal, as I always say, very sub-orientated. But obviously Parliament Uplink, not a fan favourite whatsoever. I got some stick on it for saying it was a little bit depressing, but the aesthetics of it, everything's burning and you're on a bow, and yeah, I agree with you. Carrier from Black Ops 2 is the map it reminds me of, with more verticality.
That was it, yeah. I think that was the one I was going for. I'm just trying to kind of reminisce a little bit of old maps of times gone by. I was just trying to imagine what Hardpoint would be like on Shipment. Can you imagine Hardpoint on Shipment 4v4?
I played Headquarters on Shipment, and on pubs, obviously, and the noob tubes and everything like that. Like, I can imagine it to an extent, but the noob tubes would have to go all that stuff, but it would just, like, you'd see, like, 90 bombs.
Yeah. With get them the 7 kill streaks in, the 5 kill streaks.
Oh yeah, call out the chopper,
destroying everything.
I love that chopper, man. MW1 for the win.
Yeah, and but you know, as we say, that was online play. That certainly would not feature.
No, he's not using the IMR.
The disrespect from Cambo.
Oh no, Cambo, you can't do that.
What have you done? That's so disrespectful.
They are gonna. Someone keep an eye on their reaction in the booth, with regards to Millenium.
Let me just make sure that none of them are using an... Oh, hold on.
Oh, Mad Cat's using an IMR. Oh, okay, all right.
We have 2 IMRs going down here.
It's going to turn into an IMR lobby. I can see it happening.
Of course, I mean, to bring you guys up to speed, it's kind of gentleman rules, I guess, that the IMR stays away.
Yeah, to say the least, nobody wants to see that IMR out. But Mad Cat, he is a dedicated AR, so right now he's probably thinking, all right, IMR, yeah, I love that.
He'll give it a go. Well, we'll stay with Mad Cat, actually, currently on 3-0, see what he's able to produce with it. Caster's Curse does go down straight away. It looks like it's going to be Cambo and Mad Cat going head-to-head in the IMR battle. First points are secured, though, now by Millenium.
Well, Harley, they're very unlucky. You know, if he would have just got a kill a split second early, would have stopped the dunk then, it would still be 0-0. But Harley, currently on a 3 streak, he's going to run with the drone as well. He's going to try and do everything. Use these crates to offer himself some cover. Go for that 1-pointer. Just falls short before he could launch it out of his hands. And the ball's going to be reset.
There we go now with Reedy.
Oh, no.
The melee has been introduced.
This map is so good for the melee, though, you would think.
And, I mean, this is it. I mean, the melee, don't get me wrong, it doesn't usually feature as choices, but it does sometimes get brought out on,
this is gonna be
Search and Destroys. We see the thermals. So it's going to be a massacre here now. We're seeing a few new guns being introduced by all the players. I'm going to go on board with the guys from IGI. I want to see if they're playing this out. So we've got IMR, we have a Bal, a Melee, and Bal. And on the flip side, we've got Bal, and Melee, IMR. So that's a big
It's
variance.
so weird seeing these guns come out of LAN. It's so... Because every other team, or every team, just never, ever uses it because of the disrespect it showed. But IGI bringing out first. Mad Cat, I think, switched pretty quickly as well. And he's just saying, well, maybe they just had a chat in between the breaks saying, oh yeah, let's pull out some weird weapons, because it seems like they've all got classes set up and ready.
Yeah, all apart from Harley, at least.
Poor Harley.
No doubt. I was going to say Sowers will be seeing this one through. Harley does get a big 3-piece there. Sowers actually starting off with a sniper now, so this is uplink. Snipers you only really see introduced when it comes to Search and Destroy, which are going to be the final 2 maps of this this Super 6 series, so we'll see what happens with them. Cambo, though, still going for those points.
To the right, yeah, he's missed that. That was a little bit of an error, so to speak. Really also picking up 2 kills with the melee. The melee on this map, I've never even considered it, because obviously it's always banned, but this is literally perfect map for an melee. It's almost, you wouldn't be able to move. If you were playing the GB ladder, for example, and you came up against a team of melees on this map, it would be a controller breaker for me.
Yeah, you'd be very, very frustrated. And Mad Cat there having a lot of fun with that IMR. Doesn't get the opportunity to play with it much, so he's making the most of it now. Reedy, though, picks up the uplink drone. Oh, he's going to fall short.
Oh, that's dirty.
It looked like he was trying to throw it out of bounds there and took it behind the crates, but he has just found a new spot for me anyway. It's always dangerous when you're using your Exo boost and your Exo slams as well, if you want to gain that extra little foothold, if you're actually going to make this jump sometimes.
There is 2 spots to 15 second, which not everyone knows about as well on this map. There's one just literally in front. If you actually go on the reset, double jump over, there's a little bit of a corner which you can get on top of. It's not a conventional corner, and you can actually throw it out through a tiny gap. Also,
the one Joe's.
Yeah, you can throw it actually on the white building as well, which we're looking at right now. So there's 2 spots which not everyone knows about, but no one uses it on Parliament. I think it's such a big map that you don't need to throw out for 15, because even if you die, you're probably still not going to need that map control, because that spawn is... Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's such a vast map that almost 15 seconding doesn't offer you anything, because by the time they've got the drone in your portal, it's been another 15 seconds.
Yeah. Here we go with Reedy. Melee in hand, trying to find more kills. And Melee also, of course, with that huge ammo clip. As soon as you reload, you're not going to have to reload for a while. Almost a big kill there by Reedy.
That would be a sweet turn-on, to be fair, with that movement with an LMG, but Kataga now picked up the drone. He's probably thinking, oh my god, I've got 2 melees firing at me, but he's actually snuck past them here. Oh, he actually gets taken around a corner there, but still 3-0 in favor of Millenium, so they are in the driving seat, but it's far from done yet.
There we go now with Cambo. The uplink drone has been reset. He needs to go for that push on that soon if he wants to try and pick up some points here. 25 seconds left of the first half. They, of course, lost all 3 maps that they've played so far against Millenium. Just to give you a bit of a recap, it was a victory for Millenium in the uplink. The 2 hard points was 250 to 95 and 210 to 155. IGI played a lot better on the Biolab, struggled on the compound.
No, I completely agree, but as you can see, Harley is 20 to 11. He's actually been using an AR with regards to Bao the entire game, so no, as soon as I said Harley, that's right, the round's ended, so I'm still technically right, but...
There we go.
Yes, once again, impressive performance from Harley, especially coming up against IMRs and the melees on this map, which Millenium are using at the moment, but final kill cam there, Cambo, just one bursting. It's just, I'm so glad we don't see this IMR on a a frequent basis.
Well, this is it. And as we say, it's kind of gentleman rules, but I don't think it's a case of gentleman rules have gone out of the window because they're desperate for the win. I think it's more because they're just having a little bit of fun with it. Mindcat and Reedy going to keep things mixing it up with the IMRs and the Amelis. On the flip side, we've got Sowers, who's going to continue to snipe, tank with the Ameli. So Harley, Cambo, Gataga, and Joe all still using the Bal 27.
Yeah, well, I think they're probably going to end up putting those away sooner rather than later, or they're just going to try and pick up weapons every time they get a kill. But Snipers also come out as well. I think that's still Sowers using it. Goes for the pass out. Oh, Joe is going for the stomp. If he would have got that, that would have been absolutely insane. But Cambo's going to launch that drone out, and it's going to remain 3-0. But 4.5 minutes left. And obviously, if it stays like this, Millenium will guarantee all 3 points. And if you've just tuned in, they are already your champions. This is just a formality to finish off this game, so every team has played every single team. Millenium will be your Season 2 champions.
Okay, and we know that IGI are going to be relegated as well. They were initially fighting to stay out of that 8th place spot. It's now becoming possible. They will be finished in 8th place, even if they did tie up this series. But it looks like they are going to be going home with a defeat if Millenium can hold on to this lead. They are 3-0 in the series, Millenium. So the Super 6 series is looking to be closed out by Millenium.
Madcat, currently 17-10. Currently on a 2 streak as well, using that IMR, taken out there by Harley, who's still using that bow. He's, yeah, it looks like he's a big fan, even though there are so many weapons to pick up off of the floor, and you got to give credit to him on that front. He's also main slate of the lobby, so honestly, I was really impressed with Harley again, and we've said this throughout the entire event, just how impressive he's been generally, particularly on uplink and S&D. But Reedy, he's having a whale of a time with this Ameli, isn't he?
Yeah, Reedy, the fill-in for rated, you know, controversially unable to compete at this event due to being suspended. That's going to be really disappointing for him, but you know, it was a necessary move for Gfinity to make. Reedy does actually convert, and that's a further 2 points there for Millenium.
Yeah, currently on a 4 streak as well. Gataga, though, on a 6 streak. So he was 11-20 before he started going on that spree, although he has got the Ameli. As soon as we notice it, once again, every time Gataga does well when we spot it, he just dies straight away. So I think we're just going to carry on hiding it, but what a throw that was.
I want to just keep watching Gataga. I want to see if that's going to be the case, if he really does have this curse. Whenever we watch him, he goes down. Let's see if he can pick up any kills at all.
Go on, Gataga. Go on a spree. Don't get taken out straight away. Don't get turned on. Oh, there we go. He's got the first kill on Sowers. Let's put the sniper away as well. So, yeah, 7-0, obviously, this game is going to be sorted now. I can't see IGI getting 8 points in the next 2.5 minutes. I think Millenium are just going to try and extend their lead. I think they're having a little bit of fun, though, with passing it to one another and just being a little bit silly on that front. But they're in such commanding control, generally, not only of this series, but of this league, to be honest with you, that they can afford to do that.
Yeah, and, you know, when it does draw to a close like this, generally speaking, the league standings are usually going to be decided. You know, the league's got to be organised in a fair way. You can't just adjust the fixtures to suit the needs of what would be the most entertaining last game. So it's already been decided what's going to be happening with these teams, but Millenium stamping their authority down once more.
Yeah, and obviously there have been some massive results early on today. I mean, the first game we found out which team would be joining IGI in relegation. Hypergames going down after finishing third, in Season 1. So that was a very, very surprising result, and one which a lot of people didn't expect. But Spirit Gaming, the favorite to go down before this day started, actually finished 4th and in the money, and they take Infused place. And Infused started first yesterday, and everything just kind of went downhill. They lost every single game, including one to VWS, which they were expected to win. I mean, they did have a few tough games as well, Vitality and Millenium, but disappointing to say the least. But Spirit Gaming, if you're them right now, or you're the organization owner, you're thinking, what's just happened? Yeah,
they did really well. So the Spirit Gaming walking away with 4th place and £300. VWS got 3rd, £1,000 going to those guys. Vitality got 2nd, £3,000 for them. But it is Millenium who you are watching now. They are your Season 2 Pro League champions, taking that £7,000 prize home. And showing exactly why here. Even adopting a casual style of play, they're walking away with a comfortable victory. 7-0 is the scoreline. IGI aren't going to come back from this.
Yeah, there's no disputing that whatsoever. But the next 2 maps are S&D. And I think some of the players were saying they're just going to try and go sniper only. And to be honest, that would be entertaining to watch in my view.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah,
it's a strategy.
Both sets of players have actually got some decent snipers, or both sets of teams, I should say, have got some decent snipers. We're seeing Tank try and use one now, although he did miss that shot on Mad Cat, so he's not backing up my point whatsoever. But 10 seconds remaining, and that's going to be map number 4 done.
That is it. Our final few seconds. I mean, the Parliament uplink will finish 7-0 till Millenium. Will it convert, though? No, it won't. So 7-0 is that final scoreline. Great play from Millenium. IGI unable to secure a single point. Gataga needs to calm down. You know, he needs a warning, I think. If it's gonna,
I agree. Admin needs to take control.
If he's going to start getting this crazy in the booth, someone's going to have a word with him here. But, yes.
He's listening. Gataga, smile. Smile!
Oh, well, let's I don't know if that's a smile or is that a frown.
He looks hungry.
He does. I think Mad Cat is ready to invest in further Portuguese chicken. It is, of course, the gamer's choice. Mad Cat, what on earth?
That face is absolutely priceless.
What on earth? There's going to be a few GIFs flying around on Twitter later, I think.
Deserto will be using that, and you know they will.
He's very deep in thought, isn't he?
Looking very philosophical.
Just contemplating his Call of Duty career, where he wants to go with this. He's kind of happy, but not happy at the same time.
So many facial expressions.
So many. Feel like let's zoom in further. Let's get a.
Look at him.
He has absolutely no idea that we're talking about him.
When he watches his back, he's just going to be like, "What a bunch
what
of..."
on earth?
Anyway.
So,
well, really, they're finishing 28 kills with the Yameli. Impressive performance there. Yep. Gataga, though, 28 and 27. And in fairness, Harley finishing with 30 kills, only using a bow as well, up against, you know, essentially a squad full of IMRs and Amelis and all kinds of stuff. It's not bad, and we said that, but that game wasn't taken too seriously. I think both sets of teams know what's going down. I think they both are in the same shoes. They just want to kind of get these games over and done with. But Search and Destroy, it'd be interesting to see what happens here. I'm hoping the Amelis don't come out for this one, but we just see some great Mauls play. Yeah,
but I mean, the thing with this Search and Destroy now as well, you know, it's not so much the fact that they've been taking it casually, but it's official that IGI have lost this Super 6 series. Even if they won both of these Search and Destroys now, the victory does go to Millenium. So in terms of points in the league, it's fixed how this will finish. They're playing for map difference, which really doesn't mean all that much at this stage. So an even more casual style of play might be adopted. And I would love to see a 4 versus 4 sniper, actually. Even if it's just for one round, it's always quite entertaining to see.
Yeah, well, obviously, every time we're sat casting an S&D, we always jump on board with a sniper first.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's going to be a little bit of a dilemma as to who to start with if that happens. But I think we're speculating a little bit prematurely out of optimism rather than anything. But as you can see on your screen, no maps there.
No maps at all.
Yeah, there we go. It looks like
we're playing the ghost town.
Every time I cast it, it just looks like something goes wrong. So I apologize. It's probably me. Probably is. But Solar S&D, I've said this is IGI's best chance at winning a map.
There we go.
And as you can see, after it will be Recovery S&D, and I've said Millenium. Last time I casted them, they were just looking pretty dominant, to be honest with you. But headed into Solar S&D, Rel, do you share my optimism? Do you think IGI can take this map?
Well, currently it's 1 versus 7. Harley's looking to take on the Millenium lineup and his IGI teammates. Oh, and it looks like they're going to have to restart that. I thought that was going to go ahead for a second. I thought it was going to be a 1 versus 7. Harley's overconfidence there would see if it had come...
It's playing well, but not that well.
Yeah, we'll have to calm down a little bit, Harley. Not quite that good just yet. But, yeah, Solar Search and Destroy... you know, you said if there was any map that IGI could take from Millenium, it would be this one of the 2 Search and Destroy. You said it would be Search and Destroy, probably the Solar. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean...
You don't believe that, do you?
Yeah. I mean, for me, Millenium are still going to win this. I'm expecting a 6-0 sweep, but looking at both the Search and Destroys where IGI could do something, of the 2, I would say Solar, they probably have the best chance.
Yeah, well, I think we both agree. I'm just trying to be really optimistic for IGI. But to be fair, they have given a decent performance. If this 4 would have competed throughout the entire league, I don't think that the result will be the same. But there's just been so many issues with individual players, and we have to stress here, IGI as an organization have maybe been reflected not in the best light from obviously some of the casts and things like that, but it's not an attack at the organization or the team itself, because they've done so well to come here literally with 24 hours practice as a team of 4, probably a little bit less, and they've still taken a point off of the team that finished 4th overall in Spirit Gaming, and that is not, you know, too bad at all.
This is it, and they're in the top 8 teams in Europe. This is the Premier League. They're in the top 8 teams in Europe. I've got to repeat that statement because they're there for a reason. So whilst they are crumbling at the hands of Millenium here, as you said, with this lineup, if they've been competing online throughout the season, a 0 to 24 map count, I don't think we'd have seen the same thing.
No, and the thing is I was speaking to some of the guys at IGI, and they were actually saying that all DLC maps they had to forfeit because one of their players couldn't, I don't know if they couldn't afford, but they didn't want to download the DLC maps. Right. And when you've got players around like that, it's a little bit toxic for the environment. Yeah. And if you're having to forfeit maps because a player won't buy the DLC maps, and I understand that some players have principles saying, no, I'm not doing it, for whatever reason. They might not like the game, so they don't want to fund Michael Condry's lifestyle. I don't know, whatever excuse they're going to use. But at the end of the day, you need players which are dedicated to the cause. But these four, love them or hate them, they've turned up. And for 24 hours practice, it could have gone a lot worse.
Well, I was going to say, it's quite surprising, really. You know, the map pack, it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, does it?
£11.
And the DLCs, I get the season pass myself. I love it for zombies more than anything. But
Carrier, mate.
There we go. So, but it does, of course, unlock the maps, and I'm surprised the top competitive players in Europe aren't willing to invest in that. Of course, that's not reflective of those competing today, who have been put together well, and we see IGI take the first round.
Oh, so all the momentum in favour of IGI here. Millenium, they've got it all to do as they are 1-0 down against IGI. No, I'm sorry, that's too harsh. Anyway, yeah. Sours, though, 3-0, picks up 3 kills in that round, and it looks like every player is trying, to be fair. We haven't not seen 4v4 snipers. In a way, I'm a little bit disappointed, but Joe's just put out a sniper, and I thought that was actually a default site there, so we switched to the AR.
Just seeing if anyone is sniping or it's going to continue.
Oh,
here we go. It's the Gataga shot. Oh, thought for a second he might have got it. Thought he might have been able to pull that off. He might even have smirked in that booth if he'd have pulled off that shot. He might have expressed happiness in that way. Targa trying to find somebody here.
Gonna go for this cheeky nade towards back Yellow Cat. As you can see, Mad Cat does get first blood on Sours, or second blood on Sours, I do apologize. And Mad Cat has just been taken out there by Cambo, who's just underneath Gataga. By the look of it, it's currently 3v2. Harley picks up the second kill, though, so could this be back-to-back rounds for IGI?
Well, Gataga manages to somehow kill somebody with an Atlas. Almost unheard of, but managed to seal a deal there, and there we go. Now, 1-1 on rounds. Millenium fight back into this. Early days, of course, at this stage. And you can see there, the boys just flicking on screen was IGI. Sours there, really doing well. That first round, 3 kills made. All of his teammates currently on 1-2. And it's them that need to be picking it up.
I think Gataga is one of the only players I know that still uses the Gataga. The Gataga uses the Atlas pistol. It just sounds like a little bit of a BB gun.
It sounds so weak. I mean, you know, it's kind of reflective of how powerful it actually is. But yeah, it has its advantages, I guess, in terms of speed if you can wield it quite fast. But, you know, PDW does tend to be the favorite. Holly misses the snipe. Oh.
Well, really, it makes a bit of an aggressive play there. Down A Street, but as you can see, Tank actually going to move towards him with the support of Cambo. So A push is coming in here. Be quiet. Don't want to give away anything to the players, just in case they're listening to me. Plus, I'm loud as hell.
And we can see the sweep around, so not coming into anything just yet. And while this is a very interesting push, it looked like if they weren't going to reveal the position, then they would have gone right round the back towards that B-bomb site. Cambo trying to empty some shots out on Reedy, who is the last left alive here. And we're just getting a bit of a look of the IGI players on your stream now. Let's get back into this gameplay, though, and see if he's able to pull off this 1v2 Reedy.
They're looking very, very focused. Credit to them. Very, very focused indeed. They're going to get the bomb down over at that B site by the look of it. And Reedy left in an awkward situation here.
Not gone for it just yet. I think this is it now. There we go. It's going down.
I'm yelling timber.
Oh, we've heard about my singing career already. Oh, don't get me started on another song. Reedy.
I feel there's a song coming on.
Oh no, there's definitely not. I can promise you that. 1v2 still. He's revealed his location in a really sticky situation here. He's got to go for the plant as well. He's found 1 kill. If he can find the other one quick, he might be able to pull this off.
And it would be an impressive 1v2 from him as well.
He's got to hurry up.
I think he would have had 3 kills overall this round as well. I think he got 1 kill in the previous round, as this would be back-to-back rounds for Millenium. With that being said, you can see Cambo in and around this elbow area. Time's run out. Cambo, he's just going to peek the bomb again once more. I think he actually knows where Reedy is, so he doesn't need to peek it. And that's going to be a round in favor of IGI.
He played it so well. Cool, calm, collected. Didn't need to go for the kill at all. Just ran that time down and made sure that he picked up the victory. And that's Cambo there, second in from the right. Tank on the far right. Needs some more water. You can see him shaking it out of frustration.
Peasants, get me some water.
We'll see what's going on, though. Gataga on the screen now. Currently 1-2 Gataga. We'll get on board with him. You saw the focus. You know, as much as we joke around at his poker face, he does take this very, very seriously. A top competitor for a reason. Struggling a little bit in the opening stages of Solo Search and Destroy, but no doubt we'll find his form soon.
Yeah, carrying on a breadstick. Oh, as soon as I say that, it looks like the caster's curse actually flipped. So it actually helped him in that gun battle there, of course, taking out Harley in this yellow cut area. And it looks like Reedy is still on that streak as well. He's currently on 4. But Gataga getting another kill as well. And time's running out here.
And yeah, that's going to be it. It was a very passive round that. There wasn't really the massive panic or anything anywhere. Played out very cool by, I was about to say Epsilon there, by Millenium. Mad Cat there, cleaning up that final kill, taking down Sowers, brings things to 2-2. So fairly evenly matched so far, actually, which isn't something we've seen so far. You said yourself that Search and Destroy is going to be the potential breaking point of Millenium. Doesn't particularly matter all that much at this stage, given that Millenium already have the win in this series and already have the league win too. Let's see what Cambo can do.
I completely agree with you there. Doesn't really mean too much to either side, but if IGI can take a map, I mean, we've been keeping on board with the IGI eSports Twitter feed and all that kind of stuff, and every time they win a map, they're pretty happy, because at this level, as I said, 24 hours notice, taking a map off one of the best teams in Europe would be a good accomplishment, and there's always going to be question marks, well, maybe they weren't trying as hard and all that kind of stuff, but when you look back at the history books, or just the relevant books in general, still say a map in favor of IGI, and that was a big, big play there. And I didn't actually see who that was. I was too busy on my point.
Cambo. Yeah, I think it was Cambo actually pulled that off. We'll see it on the replay now. But yeah, this is the thing with IGI and the whole slow and steady does win the race in a lot of occasions. So sure, they've not had the best outing in this season. I'm very confident that if they continue to play, and if they at least stick as a team, they'll definitely bounce back from the championship and be competing in the Premier League at a very short time.
I completely agree, and obviously no decision's been made on Season 3 whether it's going to be A-Dub or Black Ops 3. Either way, I'm psyched for it, to be honest with you, because obviously this is only 2 seasons in. Wow, really actually gets a nade there. Looks like he naded down mid-street over P1, but First Blood, Second Blood also going in favor of Millenium, and this looks like it's going to be round done already, to be honest.
Plant is now going down by Reedy. Reedy distance himself. Gunfight, here we go. Got to be careful. Trying to use that bomb site to cover his body. Makes him a difficult shot to hit.
And we've seen that a couple times today. People using that B-bomb site just to give them some extra protection. And that's going to be round over again. So 3-3. And it seems like every time one team gets some momentum going, the other team just kind of pipes up all of a sudden and just goes, well, no, we'll have that back, thank you. But Joe getting the final kill cam there, stomping to the ground. I think he had plenty of support as well from his teammates behind him in and around Yellow Cat. But Reedy currently 8-2, and this is what Reedy offers you. His S&D game I've been so impressed with. When he was playing for Epsilon against Millenium, his sniper plays and his S&D plays generally kept Epsilon in that series where Millenium actually went on to drop 2 points. And now Reedy's joined them, although only for this league. Arguably, the Search and Destroy weakness, or supposed weakness, isn't as prominent anymore because of what he can do. Yeah, and
that's nothing against Rated, of course, who's an excellent player, but it's just something that Reedy is exceptionally good at, and you've seen it here today on Solo Search and Destroy. You know, do you think there's any consideration that Reedy would replace Rated, or do you think as soon as he's available, Rated's going to be back in this team? No,
Rated will go straight back into this team. Reedy has got a team lined up. He's made that very, very clear, and obviously only rumours going around at the moment, but I think the team which he's thinking about going into would be very, very strong as well. So be interesting to see if all of that pans out. You never know with these things, the contract negotiations and all kinds of stuff. But Millenium, they're very happy with Rated, and Rated throughout the league until he was banned was impressive. Some of the VODs, I watched some of them back and stuff, mainly to just look at myself and just criticize myself, as some of we casters do. Rated's plays, a lot of the time, he is the unsung hero. Some of the work he does, you don't see it at the time, but when you watch it back, you go, wow, like, that was really important that he did that. His movement as well, sometimes you're watching him move around at the top left of your screen. He's a very, very smart player, but enough about Rated for now.
Well, this is the thing, I mean, when you've got the likes of Mad Cat and Gataga in your team, they might take all of the limelight, so it's not that Rated so much unrated, excuse the pun there, but it's just the fact that he doesn't get the credit he deserves because so much focus is put on Gataga and Mad Cat.
Well, to be honest with you, I think Gataga doesn't get a lot of the praise either. I think it's all about Joe and Madcat. And obviously, like they're probably just two of the best players in Europe right now. And Joe is just risen up the ranks, in my view. Just gone from a good player to a great player to one of the best players that Europe has to offer, in my view. And that can be contested and disputed. But obviously, I've been watching this Season 1 and Season 2, and I've seen Joe, and he's just got better and better week in, week out. And the thing about Joe is he learns from his mistakes. That's what separates the good players from the great players, in my view.
Well, Madcat left all on his own here now. Millennium do have the lead. He'd have to pull off this 1 versus 2. Is that... It is going down. Is Madcat going to find him in time? Let's just keep him board.
Oh, no, he's abandoned it.
Oh, wow. And in all fairness, Madcat, he is chuffed to bits with that. Yeah, whatever. No, I knew I could do it. Look at him.
He abandoned it.
Smile. He did abandon it, but do you know what? If I was Tank personally, I'd have probably continued with it.
Same.
But that said, Madcat would have still got him. Madcat would have picked that kill up before he could do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, unless Madcat got Madcatted. Yeah, a couple days ago, watching Madcat, he's actually planting the bomb on Riot S&D, and he started getting some or receiving some shots whilst he was finishing off the plant. He actually stood up from the plant, dashed to the left, and absolutely destroyed the guy. I can't remember who it was, but it was absolutely unbelievable play. I just had to send him a message after to say, oh my god, it was one of those moments. But I think we'll be lucky to see that again from many players, to be honest with you. But 5-3 at the moment. Millennium just 1 map away from going 5-0 in the lead in the final game of Season 2 of the Pro League.
There we go. Harley and Sowers 2 versus 3 now. Are they going to be able to deny Millennium this opportunity? It all comes down to Sowers. And he has been taken out, which means that Millennium will walk away with another map win, a 6-3 victory for them. And that is some great performances from Millennium. They're just unstoppable here, you know. This is the thing, IGI are doing well. IGI are actually playing well, in my opinion, but it's just not enough to take down the likes of Millennium.
Yeah, Madcat finishing on a 6 streak there. And as you can see, reactions in the booth. Target again, just needs to come. Honestly, we keep saying it, but someone warn him, because it's getting frustrating now seeing the level of hype he's getting. But in all seriousness, you know, it's a testament to Gataga's professionalism, the fact that he doesn't kind of take a break and take it for granted, and some players do. Some players have been guilty of that, but he's focused until the very end.
I was looking at Madcat in that booth there, and I could see Dom going around taking some pictures for the guys, and Madcat was striking the pose. The victory pose.
Yeah, number 1.
Number 1. But look at those kill-death spreads. That tells a story itself.
Madcat 10-5, double figures, but Joe and Reedy just falling short of double figures also. Gataga, once again, is he's not really left with much to do, because I think Reedy just kind of shines on S&D, and I was discussing this the other day. Maybe Gataga could be a little bit more aggressive as S&D, because in respawn, it's difficult for him to get kills when, obviously, he's playing with the likes of Joe and Madcat in particular. But, to be honest with you, if this side works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, this side is definitely not looking broken. It's looking a little bit OP in some ways, to be honest with you.
Yeah, every single Millennium player there going either neutral or positive. Every single IGI player going negative, which doesn't set them up well for the following Search and Destroy, which will also be the final map played here at the Season 2 European Pro League Finals. It's going to finish things off. It's going to be Recovery Search and Destroy. Millennium, your champions, going head-to-head with IGI, 8th place finishers in the Pro League. They will be getting relegated. Can IGI do anything about it and cause an upset? Well, they're going to have to wait for the player to come back before they even attempt that. But, I mean, realistically here, do they have any chance of doing this?
Obviously, they've got a chance when it comes to S&D. I think one of the criticisms I've got about some of the players on Millennium is that if you look at the results in the past, they can get a little bit sloppy towards the end of series. Super 6 series, some people are a big fan of it, some people aren't such a big fan. But when it comes to the 6th map and a team's 5-0 down, or even if a team's 5-0 up, both teams have to stay disciplined, because sometimes, and more often than not, teams who go 5-0 in the lead actually think, well, like, I don't see why I'm playing this map. I am going to be a little bit kind of relaxed, and sometimes I can cost them the map. But in this circumstance, it's not going to mean anything if they drop a map. This is just playing for pride at this stake. And obviously, I think you see Harley returning to the booth there, so Recovery S&D will be loaded up sooner rather than later. But Raul, you've asked my opinion. What about you? Do you see IGI forming any sort of mini comeback on recovery?
I think there's going to be some resilience for sure, but I think this is Millennium's for the take, and they should be able to make the 6-0 sweep given what we've seen so far. IGI, I'd love them to do it. I'd love them to take a map for their sake as well, and it'd be a nice finish for them for the tournament as well, or for the league itself. But in the exact same respect, Millennium, if they finish off with a 6-0 sweep, what a statement that's going to send out as well to the European community, as they are the dominant champions.
It'll be interesting to see what their map count is as well if they win 6-0. I think you've got a bit of a league table written down.
I have scribbles all over the place, in all honesty, so I would take that for granted. No doubt the analysts will be able to break that down at the very end of the event, and they'll be able to show us the final standings and show us quite how many maps in the positive Millennium are up, because it's going to be something sensational. Yeah,
well, obviously having 0 defeats and only getting 1 draw, they wouldn't have lost any maps on that front, so they're always going to be at least +2 every series, and some have been +6, +6, +6, +6, and there's only been a couple where they've only gone +2, but to be honest with you, I don't think they were ever fussed about map difference. Obviously, I was following the guys on Twitter since the start of the league, and they've always said, we're not really fussed about playing to the end with regards to sweating a map number 6 with 5-0 up, because a team has to beat us. Yeah. And right now, we feel that no one can beat us. We're not going to, be defeated, and no team is going to take 3 points from us.
So they take a lot of comfort in their ability here, and Reedy has brought out the Exo Shield, not something that we see all that much. Interested to see how he's going to use this.
We used to see this at the very start of Advanced Warfare occasionally. Sometimes on Uplink, believe it or not, I've casted it, where people use the Exo Shield to actually cover them whilst they've got the drone, which is a little bit of a dodgy play, to be honest with you. It's like, how much shield could you possibly have? You've got the extra health, and you've got an Exo Shield in front of you, and it was a little bit one of those dirty classes, I think.
Yeah. Well, 2 versus 2. Reedy, Exo Shield's just about going to expire. Tank left all on his own. So Tank now, with time against him, has no other choice than to go for the defuse, and makes it a very easy kill. Millennium take the first round.
Yeah, well, Millennium starting as they mean to go on here, having a little bit of a laugh and a joke in the booth. They know they're only 5 rounds away from collecting their prize and celebrating as champions. And to be honest with you, they've been waiting a long time. Well, particularly Reedy, Mad Cat, and Joe. I want to say long time, I don't mean just today, but after last season, all 3 players just missed out on the Season 1 Championship by about +2 map difference, and they were so disappointed and angry. They've wanted this for a long time, and in 5 rounds' time, they'll be able to get what they've wanted.
Well, that's it. £7,000 between him and that first place placement. £1,750 ahead. Not bad for a season's work, I guess. I was going to say a weekend's work, but of course a lot of effort's been put in on the run-up to this. This has just solidified their place as champions. Tank does take down Reedy. 1 versus 2 now, and Tank is going to get shut out.
I'm kind of glad he was taken out there in the respect of, if we haven't seen a 1v4 all weekend. And he's taken out 2, and if he would have got that 3rd one thinking, oh my god, he's in a 1v1, and that'll be a 1v4, and we'd be looking back at the highlight reel, and it's just us casters just discussing something else, because we've seen everything that's happened this series, and it would just look so out of context. So sorry about that, Tank. It's probably my fault, just thinking negative things about you. But 2-0 in favour of Millennium, back-to-back rounds. Do you reckon this could be a 6-0?
No, I think IGI are going to find something out of it. As I say, Millennium should be able to take the Search and Destroy quite comfortably, but we even favoured IGI's best hope as being on the Search and Destroy Solar. Yeah. So, we're on recovery now. They're already 2 rounds down. Holly has opened up with First Blood against Joe, though, so now a really good opportunity for them.
Tank here, in and around this yellow area in the middle of the map, pushing spawns at the moment. Very aggressive play from him. He's going to go down low, and he could actually get a flank kill here on Gataga. So Gataga has to move quickly, and that COD timing is unreal. But Gataga can turn around here. Reedy's been taken out. This should be a good kill. Oh, Tank! Wow. Absolutely tanks it, but gets taken out on top. At the moment, Tank, to be fair, this has probably been Tank's best series overall, and we've said it earlier on, but he's following up the Respawn performances with a solid S&D performance as well.
Yeah, we have been quite critical of him, actually, and we can't overlook the fact that maybe in some of the earlier games against other teams, he's not put up a good performance. But he's holding his own here against Millennium. He's doing his best, but his best just isn't going to cut it against the likes of Millennium. When you combine Mad Cat, Reedy, Joe, and Gataga, you're always going to have a lot of trouble on your hands.
Agreed. Well, we are going to start on board with Harley using that Moors. Oh, what a shot that was on Gataga!
Wow. And Harley, known for his sniping ability, Gataga was just lying down prone, but still a difficult shot to make.
Well, I'm glad we went on board with him. Well, great choice there.
I knew it.
I feel like it was, you know, those RKOs out of nowhere. I think it was like a Harley out of nowhere.
I take full credit for that.
Yeah, nothing to do with Harley. It was the fact we chose it.
It was me.
You're showing off for the stream.
That was it. But here we go. Still with Harley now. Let's see if he's able to follow up on that sensational kill to open things up and find another.
Sour's making his way towards this B site right now, but it looks like he's been predicted. Should be another kill. Oh, hit marker. Really trying to use the Exo Shield though. Taken out from behind, but Joe kills Harley in response. So it's now 1v1, and Sours looks like he's a little bit panicked here, running all the way back to jungle.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up the minimap here just to show you the fact that these two guys are highly separated. Sours could have actually gone for a plant there if he wanted, but of course he has absolutely no idea where Joe's hiding. Joe is actually just waiting for him. Oh,
this anticipation.
This isn't going to work out well at all for Sours.
This anticipation is unreal from Joe.
Yeah, that's going to be so frustrating. Sours will know as soon as he got killed there. Could have been thinking to himself, I could have just planted at that other bomb site.
It was almost like Joe had COD vision there. He knew exactly what was going to go down. He waited and waited, probably for about 15 seconds, because he was so confident the rotation was going to come into effect. You just got to give Joe praise again, and it just goes to show that, you know, he's not just all gun skill, he's got some COD smarts as well.
There we go. Let's get on board with Joe and see what he can do here. Got to be careful. Harley is going to be sniping. There we go.
There we go.
Joe gets taken down by Harley, who's just sitting right at the back of the map here. And Gataga goes down as well, so we could be seeing the first round being dropped by Millenium if they're not careful.
Oh, Mad Cat eventually killed Sours there, but actually, oh no. Oh, the TAC-19's come out.
It has, and it's picked up 2 kills.
They're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy. Oh, Mad Cat right now.
Oh, he's giving him them daggers.
Oh, I would not like to be IGI right now.
Reed, head is on the desk. I don't know if that's through laughter or through sheer disappointment at what he's just seen, but Cambo finishes things off there with a TAC-19. I get the impression Mad Cat said something, that he's going to bring something out, that he's going to do something, and really lost it as a result of that. So let's straight away see what Mad Cat's doing. Okay.
Still using AR. Everyone using ARs and subs still, apart from Cambo, who's still using the TAC-19, I think. Unless he's just switched classes rapidly.
No, it's definitely
got he's going to get that stun grenade push around the corner. Oh, Reedy, he's going to be so angry right now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Millenium lose a map because of shotguns?
Yeah, and it's going to be frustrating. Oh, he's going to find another.
Oh.
Oh, this is now Cambo's favorite weapon of choice.
He's on a 4 streak as well with the TAC-19, laser sight, advanced rifling, and I think it's extended mags as well. Gataga has pulled up the IMR though. Body shooting from Mad Cat. He is not a happy bunny right now. And who can blame him? Just getting shotgunned out of nowhere. You just think you've still got gentleman rules. The last game they did have some fun in Parliament, but all of a sudden, unbeknown to anyone, it's... Anyway, it's 5-1.
Well, this could be it now, Inc. This could be the final round we see here at the Season 2 European Pro League Finals if Millenium can close it out. Let's get straight on board with Mad Cat. He is top of the leaderboard for his team. 10 kills to 2. A great performance. I thought he was throwing himself off the map there.
Mad Cat looks like he's playing the flank role, where he's just stood there doing nothing. One or the other. I'd like to believe he's playing the flank role. Joe getting bombed down straight away as well. He's not messing around here. But Cambo with that shot. Okay, he's abandoned the plan. I think he didn't mean to do that, but I think Harley may have spotted him.
Well, it's going to go down nonetheless. Reed has been taken out. 3 versus 3 though, as Cambo does go down. Mad Cat found that kill. Joe gets the bomb diffuser. This is looking great now for Millenium. Oh, and this is close now. Mad Cat and Gataga going head-to-head with Sours and Harley.
Yeah, PDW kill there from Harley. Mad Cat, though, 11-2, does get taken out. Gataga left in a 1v2. This is, could be the final map.
Oh, he's found one. He's really, really weak, though. Gataga's had to run away. Is he going to be able to take down Sours? Sours is going to have to go for a defuse very soon.
This is surely done, dusted there, yeah. Oh, he's under fire. Gataga's just going to bait him out. He's not going to have time to get defused. Sours is going for it. He's going to hit fire IMR kill, and there we have it. Wow. Season 2 of the EU Pro League. All done. Emphatic statement again from Millenium. 6-0 against IGI. Just unbelievable performance throughout the whole season from them.
Oh, yeah. And what a way to finish as well, with a hip fire of an IMR. Great play by the Millenium guys to close things off. A 6-0 landslide victory as well. Congratulations to those guys. No doubt going to go and show their sportsmanship. But that is it. Millennium will finish. They are your champions, and you can see the fist. We were saying this before.
Cambo just go, oh.
We're so much happier that it's changed to fist bumps as opposed to low fives, which somehow didn't always work out, and there could be some awkward handshakes and slaps.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it here for Gfinity. The Season 2 European Pro League Finals will finish. Millennium are your champions, and they are walking away with £7,000.
Right then, guys, so there it is. It was already confirmed, but now we see it for ourselves. They've only gone and done it. It's Millennium. They've got the first place. They've got the hands on the check, hands on the trophy. Why are they letting Reedy touch it?
Get off it, Reedy.
In the team, Reedy.
What are you doing, Reedy?
Yeah, you can't.
He's looking at us now. He's giving us a smug look.
He's a good lad. But anyway, so, you know, look, it went the way we thought it was going to. We knew it was going to be a bit of high comedy there. But there were times, I suppose, where Millennium realised that we are going to have to actually drag this out. We did 6-0. It was frustratingly more difficult than it needed to be for them.
Yeah. I know I'm a gobby analyst who's got rigor mortis in his hand, so I can't play properly. But, boys, you don't need grip on the IMR. That's all I've got to say.
Wow, good. You're trying to give Mad Cat lessons. All right.
I don't know why you don't need grip on an IMR.
We'll see how that plays
I mean, it was like watching game battle. It was like watching two angry people who went to an amateur event, got absolutely stomped, and come back to play a game battles game at some point.
Did you just call Mad Cat an amateur?
No.
I feel like that's what I feel like.
Are you bored, Bryce?
Are you now putting words in my mouth? Because it's not actually what I said.
All I'm saying is
let's hope it stops at words, mate.
Having that IMR, who was the player who had it,
yeah,
and then you said it's like two amateur players.
So did quite a few of them have grip on the IMR, which you don't need.
I'm just saying. You're referring to.
Just saying.
Don't you work for this company, mate? You can really stitch it up.
You know what? Go away.
Yeah.
We don't need you for this part. Me and Richard.
Do one. No, I'm kidding. I like him. He's all right, Bracey. Look, I'll tell you what, though, right? Let's take a look at the table. We can get into that, and we can see final confirmation of what we know. Obviously, the last few fixtures today didn't really impact on the table quite so much, but I think it's good just for the sake of memory. We'll start at the bottom. You see IGI eSports, who just played there, relegated, and hideously so. Hyper Games that we saw earlier against Spirit Gaming, they got relegated as a result of that game. Epsilon, disappointingly, in 6th. Quite incredible, really, when you think about their pedigree. And we think changes might be incoming as a result. Team Infused, another lineup with a lot of pedigree that also disappointed. Spirit Gaming did it. They got in amongst the money. It is only 300 quid, but considering yesterday what we were saying about them, that's absolutely amazing. And you can see, just to get confirmation of the final placements, there it is. Spirit Gaming get that £300. VWS Gaming, very impressed by them.
Very impressed.
Yeah. Had a great time at the LAN component.
Very happy.
Super close to being second as well.
Exactly. Literally, it was their head-to-head record, and one map that would have let them down had they got it, but irrelevant in the end. £1,000 to them. Team Vitality, who had a strange interview with Brandon afterwards. You think they'd
memorable, though.
Yeah, you think they'd be happy with £3,000 in second place. Turns out they weren't. And of course, Millennium, absolute worthy winners over the course of the season, £7,000, and well done to them.
Yeah, it was a great experience for me to watch all this Call of Duty over the weekend. There was a lot of good stuff, there's a lot of bad stuff, and a lot of Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see high-level Call of Duty.
That's a beautiful speech, man.
Thanks, mate. I've been working on it all weekend.
Getting emotional. Welling up.
You two have gone to bits. Absolutely gone to bits.
Says Bryce trying to manufacture some drama right at the end.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out on Twitter. You haven't got any followers, mate.
Wow.
Wrecked.
Wow, all your followers hate you from what I'm reading your Twitter feed. So.
Yeah, that's the best way to have a fan base. I'm surprised it hasn't worked out for you. Anyway, look, let's do some summaries. Let's talk about some treasured memories that we're going to take from us from this event here.
Good things for me. VWS, really impressive. It shows that sticking, and Spirit Gaming, it shows that sticking with your teammates and giving it an actual go really does pay off for you. That's a big highlight for me. That's probably it.
Thanks for coming.
That's all I've got.
Obviously, some of the high-level games we have seen here, you know, really good teams. Like I said, I think VWS are probably the story of this weekend and the league in general, that they, first of all, did well in the league and that they actually performed very well on LAN. And I'm excited to see them as they progress in their Call of Duty career. Spirit Gaming was a shock, especially considering, you know, how much we kind of dug into them to begin with.
Yeah.
But they kind of rallied and came through it. Millenium, that was almost a foregone conclusion from them in the end. They just looked super confident, didn't lose a single game all league long. Only one draw, which I think Mad Cat was actually unhappy with when I mentioned it. He goes, "Oh, guys, you've had like a flawless." He goes, "No, we got a draw. We got a draw. That doesn't count." And I was like, "Dude, you're undefeated."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a really good league, and I think it's interesting to see how teams stack up. Obviously, you know, by Monday morning we'll have 6 new teams, so it's kind of cool to see, you know, how that goes from here.
Yeah, well, for me, obviously great to do a Call of Duty event. You've all been very welcoming, so thanks for that. I know I'm an outsider, an alien life form, but you've all been very welcoming on Planet COD. And for me, I got to say, Millenium looked great. That's what a real team, even though they weren't a real team, ironically, looked like. It was some high-level performances. Had fun talking to the lads, and I've got to give a special shout-out to IGI, because they were sort of laughing and having a bit of fun at the end.
Yeah,
and when you've had such a spectacularly bad season, I guess you've got to give them some credit for that. They know they were relegated. They were getting absolutely wrecked. Still managed to smile. I guess that's how you have to do it. So,
they had some good moments over the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with Sowers especially. I think Sowers definitely deserves a better team than he's been put with so far. It's no disrespect to the other guys, but he has always been one of the top players who just for some reason hasn't broken into the absolute top yet. I really want to see him get a good team behind him, a team he's comfortable with, and really push for some success.
I think I'm actually going to disagree with you, because
he's not had his
sleep.
A bit
of controversy,
doesn't
he? In my defence, most of what he said was wrong. So I'm going to disagree with him. Sowers has been at the top.
Why did he hire this guy?
Because I know more than the rest of you.
Yeah, but
basically, South has been at the top, and then there are some reasons. Obviously, that he hasn't been picked up, for higher teams. I disagree with your fact that you said, I think he deserves a better team. This team's brand new, so it could actually be a really good team. But the problem is that they've practiced and they have gone through 12 players. It was essentially
that is a hell of a revolving door policy they've got going on. That's like 3 teams.
In a 5-week turnaround. That's 12 players in a 5-week turnaround. There are teams out there going, from 1 week to the next.
People last longer on The Apprentice.
Exactly. So. For me, some of these players did show some promise, and I think there will be changes of that. I have no doubt. But to say he has a bad team when they're an untested team at a lower level is kind of unfair.
To me, it didn't look like he was particularly comfortable with the team. He's the captain of the team, and
they've had 24 hours practice.
It's true, but even some of those performances were just not acceptable, really, a pro league status, regardless of how little you've played. Like Infused came in, obviously they didn't play great, but they didn't look awful.
But they have a pedigree. That's 4 very well-known players.
Right, look, guys, to tell you what, you can argue about this over drinks, boys. Yeah, let's all calm down. Let's get this show over, and then we can all get
repeat last night.
So anyway, like I say, I want to just thank you very much for your time. It's been wonderful working with you, especially who I've not worked with before. And you was working with you in a different capacity this time. You only got me 1 sandwich, I think, the entire event.
Unfortunately, you've got me dinner and a few drinks, actually, for the weekend, so I'm up.
But yeah, I know. How's that happened? We'll put that to rights right now. And of course, thanks to all the people who've been watching. Thanks to all the people who turned up to the Gfinity Arena to come and watch their teams. Thanks to all the teams for participating. Thanks to our wonderful production team. It's one of their birthdays today. Jay Atkins, another Counter-Strike veteran, and he's been slogging away on his birthday. Bless him. Right, so well done, mate.
I had to do that, so I have no sympathy.
Yeah. Great advert for Gfinity. What's that, Sunday? Birthday? We're going to wreck you. Keep working. Anyway, thanks a lot for hiring me, and thanks a lot for having me in the COD scene. We will see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.
You're not on it? I'm on it. 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 Where are you at?
Choice it would be, but
he doesn't pull it. Gets it.
There's one.
Oh,
it's
no,
going to be
he's
close.
Good. He gets the second one. Clay, the MVP with the 2 snipes. All smiles, high fives coming from attached. The birthday boy able to pick it up.
Wow, and look at that, the accuracy there. And I mean, you know, in those close quarters.
They didn't really have full control. They were defending the flag over and over again. Another thing with doing it, eventually you will get overwhelmed in that position. The other thing, we'll be able to eventually break it, maybe get a 2-piece of touch. Oh my goodness! There's the 4th 2. Can he pick it up? He gets it. Oh my! The entire team at TCM taken out in a matter of seconds. Attach, man. He is young. He is still developing as a player, but God, he is disgusting.
Hero, I wanna be a hero.